Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about O-line options for the New York Jets in free agency. Before we get started today, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever it is that you get your podcast. Also, new merch is in the merch store below. You're probably going to want to check it out. It's fire. All right, so I had this video all recorded, ready to go. But then the Jets tagged Marcus May. So I said, all right, I'll put that on the back burner. And then Brandon Sheriff was tagged also. So that kind of threw everything off. So I said, you know what? I'll re-record and I'll add somebody else in the place and we'll just go from there. So let's get started. We'll start with the big fish, work our way down to mid-tier options, and then go down to bargain finds. And we will start with now the biggest fish on the market, which is Joe Thuney, a 28-year-old from the New England Patriots. Over the last 3 years, his Pro Football Focus grades have been solid: 74.2, 77.4, and a 75.7. He allowed just 2 sacks last year and 3 penalties, and in his entire career, he has never missed a game. The guy is durable. Now, what I will say about Brandon Sheriff, while I think he is slightly better, they're in the same category, but I would say he's slightly better, he misses a lot of time. Thuney does not. $15 million AAV, I think, is about the asking price I would assume for a guy like Thuney, but he is not going to get tagged. He is going to hit the open market, and if Joe Douglas is going to back up the truck for anybody and pay anybody, it's this guy. I think if he hit the market last year, the Jets were fully prepared to give him a boatload of money, and this year I expect the Jets to go out and sign a Joe Thuney. That would be a home run. This is the guy you circle. Go get him. Now, for my second big fish option, and the only other big fish option in my eyes, you can pivot and go a different direction, and that's signing Corey Linsley, the center of the Green Bay Packers, who's 29 years old. He's coming off an elite season: 89.9 Pro Football Focus grade, 69.8 the year before that, and 78.6 the year before that. He had 0 penalties and 1 sack on the entire season. If you are going to sign a guy like him, what you could do is bump McGovern over to guard and then draft another guard and plug him in on the other side. Now, I think he's going to be a little bit cheaper than a Joe Thuney. You're probably looking at around $11-12 million. So you're saving a couple $1 million. You could bump McGovern over. And then, like I said, you're going to want to use one of those early picks, whether it's the second first rounder, a second round pick, on a guard that you could play right away, whether that is an Elijah Vera Tucker in the first round, then Deontay Brown in maybe round 2, or a Wyatt Davis as well. You draft a guard and plug him into play. Let's get to my mid-tier options. The first one, Jon Feliciano from the Buffalo Bills. He's 30 years old. Last 3 years, 64.6, 64.1, and 49.5. 3 years ago was a disaster, but coming off 2 really solid seasons in Buffalo, just 2 penalties, no sacks allowed. He is much better in pass protection, and this is someone who it would be an improvement over what they had at the guard position, but is not at the same level as a Joe Thuney or a Brandon Sheriff. He's kind of in between, so I think he's probably going to get maybe $7 million on the open market. Again, he is a solid player. Is he great? No. Is he a step up from the Brian Winters, Greg Van Roten, and Alex Lewis's of the world? Yeah, probably. I don't think it would cost a ton, obviously. Like I said, $7 million, a couple of year deal. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy long. He kind of got his bump, and then he's going to get a little bit of another pay increase this time. So I think you're looking at a mid-tier option here and around $7 million, half the cost of what it would take for a Joe Thuney. If it were up to me, I'm still going out and signing Joe Thuney, though. Here's another mid-tier option for you if you somehow miss on the big 2 fish, and that is Gabe Jackson from the Raiders, 30 years old, 63.7 Pro Football Focus grade, 61.8 2 years ago, and then 73.7 the year before that. He had 3 penalties last year, but gave up 0 sacks. He is much better in pass protection, which is good. I think he's probably going to cost around $8 million. Now, he's coming off a big contract. He's getting paid $11, but at this point in his career, he already got his big money, so I don't think he's going to look to cash in again. Now, maybe with the guard market losing a guy like Sheriff, that number gets closer to $10 million, but I don't think it's going to cost you nearly as much. And like I said, the first 2, the big fish, you have to go out and try to get one of those 2 guys. And if you have to, then you pivot to one of these guys here. And like I said, he is okay. This is probably an upgrade over Van Roten and Lewis, but this isn't anything where you're going to be super stoked about bringing in. The last one that's a little intriguing to me is David Andrews on the mid-tier, the 29-year-old center from the New England Patriots. He had a 67.7 Pro Football Focus grade last year. He missed all of 2019 and had a 73.3 Pro Football Focus grade the year before that. He played just 4 games this year. He missed 4 games this year, and he missed all of 2019. Now, in 2019, he had a blood clot, so that's a scary thing, and that's not necessarily a football injury. This year, it was a thumb. He had to get surgery, and he missed 4 weeks in the middle of the year. But this is a really good center, probably comparable to Connor McGovern. But if there's this is obviously the last option on my list for a reason here in the mid-tiers, because he's probably on the same page as McGovern. So if you bump McGovern over to guard, probably right guard, have Andrews as center, and then draft a guard, you can maybe sell me on doing that, but that's plan, what are we at, C, D on this list? The obvious choice is to get one of the bigger guys, but if you can't, and you have to pivot, this is a name that's going to be on everyone's list because he comes from the New England Patriots, good offensive line, solid player, missed a little bit of time this year, missed 2019, but still a damn good player. Now for the bargain bin, nobody. Spoiler alert. Don't sign anyone from the bargain bin. This is too important of a position. The Jets need to improve at guard. Okay, maybe I'm a little harsh. You could retain Pat Elflein as depth, as a backup. Sure, okay. I want to bring back Elflein and have, or Elfin, whatever the hell his last name is, however you pronounce it, and have Cam Clark be your backup guards. Okay, you can sell me on that, sure. But I'm not paying, what are you going to give Elflein? $2 million maybe to be a backup? I think it would be a mistake if you're banking on him to be a starter. Get a legitimate guard in free agency and draft another one, and you're in really good shape. Or, like I said, you could sign Lindsley and bump McGovern over to guard. You need to, no matter what, whether it's McGovern, free agency, the draft, you need 2 new starters on the interior. Left side, you're good. Mekhi Becton should be there for the next decade, we hope. On the right side, Fant, I thought was more than serviceable. I thought he was good last year. On the interior, McGovern left a little bit to be desired, but I think he can improve with better play around him. And as for Alex Lewis and Greg Van Roten, they are what they are. They were mediocre, kind of stopgap kind of options. So I'm looking to improve there for whoever's at quarterback, whether it's Darnold, whether it's Fields, Watson, Wilson, whoever you want to play quarterback. You need a stronger offensive line. So go out, improve it. I look for the Jets to be extremely active at this position. Let me know what you think the Jets should do in free agency on the offensive line. Did I miss anybody? Is someone else here that we should be talking about? Let me know in the comments or on social media. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I will talk to you next time.